Imagine, for a moment, that you are waking up in a small, sun-drenched village where the air smells of salt and jasmine. You aren't waking up to the jarring scream of an alarm clock or the crushing weight of a mounting to-do list. Instead, you wake up because the sun has touched your face, and more importantly, because you have a reason to get out of bed, a reason that has nothing to do with a paycheck and everything to do with your soul. In this village, people don't just live, they thrive, often reaching the age of 100 with the spark of a teenager still dancing in their eyes. We spend our lives chasing success, money, and health, yet we often feel more exhausted than ever. But what if the secret to a long, vibrant life isn't found in a biohack or a supplement, but in a single, quiet word? Welcome to Audiobook Mode. Today, we are journeying deep into the heart of a Japanese philosophy that has captured the world's imagination. We're diving into Ikigai, the Japanese secret to a long and happy life, written by Héctor García and Francesc Miralles. These two authors embarked on a remarkable journey to Okinawa, Japan, specifically to a place known as the Village of Longevity, to answer one fundamental question: why do these people live longer and happier than anyone else on Earth? What García and Miralles discovered wasn't a complex medical formula, but a way of being that transforms the mundane into the miraculous. By the time we reach the end of this journey today, you won't just understand what Ikigai is. You will have the tools to find your own, and perhaps, for the first time, understand why you are truly here. But here's where things get interesting. Most people think of retirement as the ultimate goal, the finish line where we finally get to stop. In the Japanese language, however, there is no word for retirement in the sense of disappearing from the world or stopping work for good. The concept simply doesn't exist in the way we know it. In Okinawa, people stay active in what they love until the very day they leave this earth. This brings us to the core of Ikigai. The word itself is formed from iki, meaning life, and gai, meaning value or worth. It is your reason for being. It is that sweet spot where what you love, what you are good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for all intersect. Think about your own life for a second. We've all had those mornings where the blankets feel too heavy and the day ahead feels like a mountain we aren't ready to climb. That feeling is the absence of Ikigai. But remember those rare days when you jumped out of bed, fueled by an idea or a project you couldn't wait to start? That was a flicker of it. The author suggests that we all have an Ikigai hidden inside us, but finding it requires a patient search. It's like a treasure buried under the layers of expectations and noise that society piles on top of us. Now you might be wondering, if this is just about finding a hobby, why does it lead to people living to be 100? This is where the science meets the soul. When García and Miralles arrived in the village of Ogimi, they didn't find people sitting in meditation all day. They found a community of people who were constantly moving, constantly connecting, and constantly engaged in flow. Flow is a term popularized by psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, and it's a massive part of the Ikigai puzzle. You've experienced flow before. It's that state where you're so involved in an activity that time seems to vanish. 2 hours pass in what feels like 2 minutes. You lose your sense of self, and you become one with the task. Whether it's gardening, coding, painting, or even washing dishes with total presence, flow is the ultimate anti-aging for the mind. When we are in a state of flow, our stress levels drop and our focus sharpens. The Okinawans don't just do things, they inhabit them. But this is only half the story. While the internal state of flow is crucial, the authors point out that Ikigai is also deeply connected to how we treat our bodies and our communities. Most of us in the West are obsessed with the more is better philosophy. More food, more intensity, more speed. The elders of Okinawa practice something called harahachi bu. It's a simple rule. Eat until you are only 80% full. It sounds almost too simple to be a secret of longevity, doesn't it? But scientists have found that this caloric restriction reduces the oxidative stress on our cells. It's a way of saying to the body, I have enough. It's the opposite of the all-you-can-eat culture that leaves us lethargic and inflamed. And what happens next might surprise you. You might think these centenarians are marathon runners or gym rats. They aren't. In fact, they rarely exercise in the way we define it. They don't have gym memberships. Instead, they have natural movement. They walk to the market. They garden for hours. They sit on the floor and get up again, dozens of times a day. Their lives are designed so that movement is inevitable, not a chore to be checked off a list. García and Miralles observed that these gentle, consistent movements keep the body limber and the metabolism steady without the fight-or-flight stress that high-intensity workouts can sometimes trigger. But here is where most people miss the point. You can eat the best food and move your body every day, but if you are lonely, your health will still decline. The authors emphasize the moe, the informal social groups that form in Okinawan villages. These aren't just friends. These are people who are committed to one another for life. They pool money to help a member in need. They meet every afternoon to drink tea and talk. They know that someone is counting on them to show up. This sense of belonging is a powerful buffer against the cortisol spikes of modern life. In the West, we often view independence as the ultimate goal, but in the world of Ikigai, interdependence is the true foundation of health. Most people think that to find their purpose, they need to quit their jobs and move to a mountain. But the authors argue that Ikigai is found in the small things. It's in the way a master craftsman polishes a piece of wood, or the way a grandmother prepares a meal for her family. It's about the quality of your attention. This brings us to the idea of wabi-sabi, the beauty of imperfection. In our world, we are obsessed with being perfect, with having the perfect career, the perfect body, the perfect life. Wabi-sabi teaches us to find beauty in the cracks, in the aging process, and in the fleeting nature of things. When you embrace imperfection, the pressure to achieve, your Ikigai vanishes, and you can begin to simply live it. But this leads us to a deeper question. How do you actually find your Ikigai if you're currently stuck in a soul-sucking 9-to-5 or feeling lost in the chaos of life? García and Miralles offer a roadmap. They suggest looking at 4 intersecting circles. First, what do you love? These are the things that bring you joy regardless of the outcome. Second, what are you good at? These are your natural talents or skills you've honed. Third, what does the world need? This is about looking outside yourself and finding where you can contribute. And fourth, what can you be paid for? Now here is the interesting part. If you have what you love and what you're good at, but the world doesn't need it and you can't be paid for it, you have a passion, but you might feel a sense of uselessness. If you have what you're good at and what you can be paid for, but you don't love it, you have a profession, but you'll likely feel empty. The Ikigai is the center point where all 4 overlap. It's not a destination, it's a compass. It doesn't mean your life will be easy, but it means your life will be meaningful. And as the authors beautifully illustrate, meaning is the best medicine for a long life. As we move into the heart of this exploration, let's talk about the 7 pillars of longevity that García and Miralles distilled from their time with the Okinawans. These aren't just tips, they are a philosophy of life. The first is to stay active and never retire. This doesn't mean you have to work at a desk until you're 90. It means you must keep your mind and body engaged with the world. The second is to take it slow. Being in a hurry is inversely proportional to the quality of life. The Okinawan pace is deliberate. They understand that when we rush, we lose the present moment. The third pillar is the hara-hachi-bu. We mentioned the 80% rule. The fourth is surrounding yourself with good friends. The fifth is getting in shape for your next birthday. Note the phrasing, not getting in shape to look like a model, but keeping your body functional and resilient for the years ahead. The sixth is to smile and acknowledge the people around you. A smile opens doors and lowers the barriers between us. And the seventh is to reconnect with nature. We are biological beings, yet we spend 90% of our time indoors under artificial lights. Reconnecting with the rhythms of the earth, the cycles of the moon, the changing seasons, reminds us that we are part of something much larger than our individual problems. But here's the most powerful insight the authors share toward the end of their journey. Resilience, or Nanakorobiya Oki, fall 7 times, stand up 8. Life will throw challenges at you. You will lose people you love. You will face illness. You will face failure. But Ikigai gives you the why that allows you to endure any how. It's the anchor that keeps you steady when the storm hits. The elders García and Miralles interviewed had lived through wars, famine, and incredible hardship. Yet they maintained a sense of gaman, the ability to endure the unbearable, with patience and dignity. They didn't survive in spite of their hardships. They thrived because their Ikigai gave them a reason to keep moving forward. This is where the transformation happens. When you stop looking at your life as a series of problems to be solved and start looking at it as an Ikigai to be nurtured, everything shifts. Your work becomes a craft. Your relationships become a moe. Your health becomes a way to honor your purpose. As we reflect on the wisdom shared by Héctor García and Francesc Miralles, it's clear that the secret to a long life isn't a secret at all. It's a return to the basics: purpose, community, movement, and presence. We often think that the answers to our modern anxieties lie in more technology or more doing, but the people of Okinawa show us that the answer lies in being. It's about finding that one thing, however small, that makes you glad to be alive today. Maybe it's the way you brew your morning coffee. Maybe it's the book you're writing in the quiet hours of the night. Maybe it's the way you help a neighbor. Whatever it is, that is your Ikigai. We want to thank Héctor García and Francesc Miralles for their incredible work in bringing these Okinawan secrets to the rest of the world. Their book is more than a guide. It's an invitation to reclaim our lives from the frantic pace of the modern world. Before you go back to your day, take a second to breathe. Ask yourself, what is the one thing that would make me jump out of bed tomorrow morning? If you don't know the answer yet, don't worry. The search itself is part of the joy. If this journey into the heart of Ikigai resonated with you, consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss our upcoming deep dives into the books that change the way we see the world. We'd love to hear from you in the comments. What is one small thing in your life right now that feels like Ikigai? Let's start a conversation. Until next time, take it slow, keep moving, and stay curious.